Picture this for a moment. A woman in her early 70s sits at her kitchen table on a quiet Tuesday morning. 3 envelopes in front of her. The first is a doctor's bill. Her last checkup turned up, something the family had been quietly dreading, and the treatment is going to cost more than she ever imagined. The second is from Medicare. Her monthly premium is going up again next year, and she doesn't understand why. She didn't earn more. She didn't get a raise. She's been retired for almost 10 years. And the third envelope, the one she hasn't opened yet, is from the IRS. She already knows what's inside. Another tax bill. Bigger than last year. Bigger than the year before that. She did everything right. She worked her whole life. She saved every spare dollar in the retirement account they told her to use. She never missed a payment. She never lived above her means. And now, at exactly the moment her body needs the most care, and her income is the most fixed it has ever been, the government keeps reaching deeper into her pocket every single year. She isn't broke, but she's afraid, because she can feel it slipping quietly, and she doesn't understand where it's all going. If you are anywhere near retirement, or you love someone who is, listen carefully for the next 15 minutes. Because what happened to her is not bad luck. It is not a mistake. It is the natural, predictable end of a trap that was set decades ago, and nobody warned her about it. There is one account in your retirement, probably the biggest one, that the IRS is quietly counting on you to leave alone. They are not hoping you spend it. They are not hoping you lose it. They are hoping you do nothing with it. Because the bigger that account grows while you ignore it, the more of it they get to keep in the end. And almost nobody sees the trap closing until it is too late to stop it. I'm talking about your traditional IRA, your old 401k, the tax-deferred money you spent your entire working life building. For decades, they told you this was the smart move. Put money in, get a tax break today, let it grow, worry about taxes later. And on the surface, that sounded wonderful. But there's a sentence hiding inside that deal that nobody ever says out loud. And once you hear it, you can never look at that account the same way again. That account is not entirely yours. You have a silent partner sitting inside it, and that partner is the IRS. Every dollar in there has a slice already promised to the government, a slice you haven't paid yet. And the longer you let it grow untouched, the bigger their slice grows right alongside yours. So that comforting number on your statement every month, that isn't what you have. That's what you and the IRS have together. Your real number, the part you actually get to keep, is whatever is left after the tax finally gets paid. And because nobody knows what tax rates will be 10 years from now, you don't even know your own real number. You are staring at an account that is part yours, part theirs, with an invisible line dividing the two. And every year it grows, the IRS slice quietly grows with it. Here's what makes this so dangerous. Leaving that account alone doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like the responsible thing to do. Everything you were ever taught about money points the same direction. Let it grow. Don't touch your retirement early. Be patient. Let compounding work its magic. And for most of your life, that was good advice. Which is exactly why this trap works on so many careful, honest people. It hides inside good behavior. The discipline that built the account is the same discipline that keeps you from ever questioning when to start drawing it down. So most people do the natural thing. They cross into their 60s, they retire, they live carefully on Social Security and savings, and they treat that big traditional account like a sacred emergency fund. They feel proud, they feel safe, and in the background that account keeps growing, and the IRS slice inside it grows right along with it, fatter every year, completely unnoticed. They are counting on you to leave that money there, untouched, until the moment you no longer have a choice. Because there is an age coming when the government stops politely waiting and starts forcing you to pull that money out, whether you need it or not. By then, the account is as big as it will ever be. The tax is as big as it will ever be. And your flexibility to do anything smart about it is almost gone. Quick question and answer honestly in the comments. Are you currently treating your retirement account like money you should never touch? Type yes if that's you. Type no if you've already started drawing it down on purpose. I read every one of these. And if this is starting to make sense, do me one small favor right now. Tap the like button. It helps more retirees find this before the bill catches them off guard. Now here's where everything you've been quietly building toward comes due. Around age 73, the government requires you to start pulling money out of that traditional account every single year. These forced withdrawals are called required minimum distributions. And the word required is the whole game. You don't get to decide. You don't get to wait for a better tax year. The rules decide for you. And the amount they force out grows as you get older. Picture what that does to someone who spent 20 years carefully not touching their account. By the time the forced withdrawals begin, the balance is enormous. So the amount they have to pull out is enormous too. And all of it lands on the tax return as ordinary income every single year, on top of everything else they have coming in. And here is where the real damage happens. Because it is not just one tax, it is a chain reaction. That forced income stacks right on top of your Social Security. And once your income climbs high enough, more and more of your Social Security benefit gets dragged into the taxable column, up to 85% of it. So now you are paying tax on the forced withdrawal, and you are paying more tax on your Social Security because of it. Then that same income can push you into a higher tax bracket, so even your other dollars get taxed harder. And then, here's the one that really stings. Because Medicare looks back 2 years at your income to set your premiums, those big forced withdrawals can quietly raise your Medicare costs through a surcharge called IRMAA. One forced withdrawal, and the bill arrives from 3 or 4 directions at once. At exactly the age when your health needs are climbing, your medical bills are real, and your income is the most fixed it has ever been. And here is the cruelest part, the part almost nobody plans for. When there are 2 of you, you get wider tax brackets, and you can spread income across them as a couple. But after one spouse is gone, the survivor has to file alone, on much narrower single brackets, while still being forced to pull that same large income out of the account every year. So the surviving spouse, usually the widow, statistically, gets hit with dramatically higher taxes at the most fragile, most painful time of her life. She is grieving, she is dealing with medical bills. She is alone in a house that suddenly feels too big and too quiet. And on top of all of that, her IRS bill goes up. Not because she earned more, just because she lost the person she loved. That is the bomb. That is what's waiting at the end of doing nothing. Now here's the good news, and it is genuinely powerful. There is a window of time when you and only you hold the controls on that account, and it opens the day you turn 59 and a half, because that is the day the 10% early withdrawal penalty finally disappears. Before that age, reaching into your traditional account meant getting hit with that penalty on top of regular tax, which is why most people wouldn't dream of touching it early. But the moment you cross 59 and a half, that penalty is gone, and the account becomes truly accessible for the first time in your life. This window runs from 59 and a half until the year forced withdrawals begin, around 73 for most people. The years in between are sometimes called the gap years, and they are the single most valuable, most overlooked stretch in your entire retirement. Because in those years, before the government forces anything, you are in complete control of how much comes out of that account and when. In those gap years, your other income may be lower. You might not have started Social Security yet. You might be living partly on regular savings, which means there is often empty room at the bottom of the tax brackets. Room that's going completely to waste. And you can deliberately use that room. You can pull money out of that traditional account, or better, convert it into a Roth in measured amounts at today's lower rates on purpose. Every dollar you move during these years is a dollar that will never become a forced withdrawal later. Every dollar you move now is a dollar that can never raise your Medicare premiums later. Every dollar you move now is a dollar that can never punish your surviving spouse later. You are quietly buying out your silent partner, a slice at a time, at a price you choose. Tell me where you are right now. Are you in your 50s? Type 50s. In your 60s? Type 60s. In your 70s or beyond? Type 70s. It tells me who's watching, and it helps me make the next video more useful for you. Before I show you exactly how to use this window, one quick thing. I am not a lawyer, I am not a CPA, and I am not your financial advisor. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. My job here is to help you understand the rules and ask better questions, not to give you personal advice. With that said, let me show you how this actually works. Every year during your gap years, you look at how much room is left in the lower tax brackets. Then you deliberately convert or pull just enough of your traditional account to fill that low rate room, and no more. You pay a modest predictable tax now at a rate you chose on a controlled amount. Then you do it again next year, and the next, slowly, patiently. You are shrinking the future taxable bucket, and if you're converting into a Roth, refilling the never taxed again bucket at the same time. You are turning a giant, unpredictable tax bomb into a series of small, planned payments. Boring beats bold every time with this account. Steady beats dramatic. Patient beats panicked. And here's a bonus almost nobody knows. Because Medicare looks back 2 years, any converting you do in your late 50s or very early 60s will not touch your premiums at all. So the earliest gap years are the cheapest, most powerful years of your life to move this money. They reward the people who act early. But respect the traps. The first trap is doing too much at once. Convert a huge amount in a single year and you spike your own bracket, you may tax more of your Social Security and you can trigger IRMAA on yourself. The goal is measured, year by year, filling the low brackets without tipping into the high ones. The second trap is forgetting the order of your buckets, tax savings, traditional and Roth. Blending them on purpose is how you keep your taxable income smooth while still living comfortably. The third trap is panic. This is not about emptying the account. It is about steadily, calmly reducing it over years. Be honest with me, before today, did you know the years between 59.5 and 73 were a window you could actually use to lower your future taxes? Type window if this is new to you. Type new if you already understood it. Almost nobody is ever told this clearly, and that's exactly why this trap keeps working. Let me leave you with one picture. 2 people, same age. Same starting account, different ending. The first person never learns any of this. They retire. They protect the account like a treasure. They never touch it. 73 arrives. The forced withdrawals begin. Social Security gets dragged into tax. Medicare climbs. They write checks every year for the rest of their life that they never saw coming. And when their spouse passes, the survivor inherits the whole mess on single brackets, with grief in one hand and a tax bill in the other. The second person understood what that account really was. At 59.5, they recognized the window. Through their 60s, they quietly converted modest amounts into a Roth at low rates, filling the empty brackets on purpose. By 73, their forced withdrawals are gentle. A tax-free Roth sits ready for whenever they need it. Medicare stays low, and when one of them is gone, the survivor is not buried under forced income. She is protected by a quiet, careful plan that was put in place during the years that were still hers to control. Same money. 2 completely different retirements. The only difference was using the window. So here's what I want you to do right now. Tap the like button if this opened your eyes today. There are millions of retirees sitting on this exact trap who need to see it. Subscribe, because the next video is on the one Roth conversion mistake that quietly wipes out everything we just talked about, and you do not want to miss it. And in the comments, tell me your age in one word. Are you going to use the window, or were you about to let it close? I read every one, and I want to know who's still in time. The IRS is counting on you to do nothing. The most powerful financial move many retirees will ever make is simply to refuse to look away while the window is still open. Take care of yourself, understand what you really own, and I'll see you in the next one.